Howdy, y'all. Hello from Hollyland. I just have oh my god, you guys. The whole screen just glitched. And my left eye caught it. I also, you guys, okay. Me. The whole purpose of me sitting down today is to talk about DreamLand and how nutty it is right now, especially just with where we're at. And I just wanted to share a bit more about what's going on in my realm. If it's helpful, it obviously will be helpful to someone, or I wouldn't be talking about it. Nightingale. I'm such a particular person. But also not at the exact same time. I have to have everything so situated, and I don't know, it's just something new-ish that I'm really realizing about myself. And what exactly do I need to lean into creative flow versus feminine flow, and just listening to what I fucking want and need in all the different parts and versions and timelines. And it's I know I talk about this all the time, I'm gonna start crying. I don't feel in my body right now. The camera is glitching, and it's not just oh, that was a little glitch. It's just when we begin to awaken and we start tuning in to those frequencies that, for me, caused me to go into mania, right? I feel that's, I can use, oh my God, it just started raining. I'm watching Dave Matthews Live from Woodstock, 1999, of course, 999, always. It's always when I get back home from being out of town, but I've noticed it more this year because I haven't traveled outside of the country since my awakening. And so April was when I went to Amsterdam and Berlin with my dad. That was the first time I had been out of the US since my awakening. And it is very significant, and I'm gonna get into it. Is this a fucking dragonfly? Grandma, Aunt Dragonfly? I'll be right back. Here we go. Every time we travel, we shift so much more than we can comprehend. And pre-awakening Holly, it would start off as I would just miss a place always that wasn't home, or I would always, any place I traveled to, I would just always imagine that was my home. And we're drawn to certain places for a reason, and it's it's all connected, of course. But what I've noticed in myself over this year specifically, just from traveling more, is it just puts you on an acceleration, and that's what sends you into mania. You cannot ground, so you just spike. And there's nowhere for you to tether down to. And you want to be tethered. Because there's a part of you that knows the only way that this ever is going to come to life is if you fucking ground this shit into reality. But you're not really comprehending that at the time, You're just, for me, of course, this is only my perspective, but Jesus Louises, Jeez Louise. And seeing myself move through different phases of healing over these last 2 years, because now I have this case study, and that's how I look at it. I look at it as alchemy. I look at it as, I have all of these journals, I have all of these notes, I have all of these, I'm figuring out the pattern, if you will, right? Like, none of us know fucking anything, okay? We're floating on a rock in the middle of space. Just a reminder. Which is fucking weird, okay? This kind of sends me into I'm Earth, so I love the cosmos, but I'm like, I would never want to go to the fucking moon. Like, ew. Like, who wants to go to space? Sounds horrible. I don't want to eat like stew out of a bag. I want to eat stew down here. Like, duh. So when we travel and we come back home and we feel that this is not the same place I left, I'm not the same person that left, like, you just feel that massive energetic shift, and it's like literally your squad is just waiting for you to like leave this, for me very specifically, like this apartment stagnant energy. I had to like get the fuck out of here for a while, go have some really healing conversations with my brother, and like that's what I needed to do, and that was the most important thing. And I was flipping the fuck out before I left, because I'm like, I have so much work to do. I took down my website, like I'm redoing every, you know, like it's just that constant. And I was able to see the patterns from corporate, you know, and see still those like that control and that fear, and like I'm over promising and under delivering, like that fucking panic. And then just like letting it flow and like letting it float through you and being like, yeah, okay, I get, yeah. And the more that happens, the more you just have more empathy for your fucking self. Like, of course that's what we were doing. We were just surviving. We were just in survival mode, not just, you know. We were in survival mode. And I recently, Abby, of course, sent me like the most gem of the message that I needed. And that it helped click why I have people pleased my whole life. You know, it was just like another turn of the key. And I feel so grateful for that, because that definitely came in exactly when I needed it to. And a wide-ranging conversation always, but this is just how I am. This is just how it is. And I'm not always so, like, I feel very floaty, you know. I went to my brother's on Monday, and literally the only like goal was just be with the kids and ground, like just get onto the earth and get at their level, because it's trippy, and you're trying to, you know, you're trying to get used to a place that is completely shifted, and you know that it's completely shifted just because it looks 99% the same. You can tell that fucking 1% now. And just weird shit is happening, you know, around you. Okay, so traveling opens us up to different energetic frequencies, right? We're upgrading, we're up leveling, you're getting different downloads, codes, all sorts of things. And your sensitivity just really just takes off. And so when Dad and I went to Amsterdam and Berlin, we flew into Amsterdam, we were there for like 3 days, like 72 hours. And the entire time we were there, I'm just like cold sweating the whole time. Every time I put food in my mouth, I felt like I was gonna throw up. Like I could feel it physically in my body. I'm like crying. It was just like a purge. And by the time we got to Berlin, I was okay, and I was able to eat when we got to Berlin. But I was still cold sweating like crazy through the night, the whole time I was there. And there were so many, like it has taken me this entire time. I just saw a dragonfly. Mona Lisa, DaVinci, fucking obviously, always. Neptune, Trident. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I gotta regroup. A little download for you there. It has taken me this entire time since then, that was in April, to really just sit and witness what I saw when I was there. And chills all over my body. It was just like, I flew over there on the 2-year anniversary of my awakening, of course. Right? Everything's so perfectly timed. And the Pope gets something, right? Being over there and seeing that the magic was there, no matter, all of the numbers were there, all of the signs, all the synchronicities, all of the music that the song that happens to be on the radio when you get into an Uber, the thing that dad just randomly says, you know. And when you get to witness that outside of your space and because this, like, I have done a lot of energy work on my own space, obviously my home, and there are times, like, I don't let anyone in here. Like, you have to, it's either like dad coming over to help me with something, but like your energy has to be fucking, because I have done a fantastic job at cultivating peace in my haven and in my space and in my heart. And like, get the fuck, right when I went through everything, literally, I almost called the cops on my mom. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I punched a wall. I still don't have feeling in this finger. So that was fun. That was preliminary, but she was enraging me. Yeah, there's so much more there, but I'm not going to go on to that because this was a little bit of a being there and just being in that and really realizing that it's you. And you realize how much you've actually alchemized and moved through and created and moved aside, got the fuck out of the way. And what happens is we really start moving through different frequencies and different energies that we're able to handle now. So when I travel, it seems to get more pronounced. My dream state, DreamLand, gets really scary. And I thought that it was more like when I got home, which it is, but it happened a little bit when I was in Alaska, and that's okay. Like, I see fucking patterns in everything. I'm bipolar, come on. Like, I don't have a choice, yeah. Like, I am literally like a fucking just spider web of information 24/7. And now I'm, creating containers for it, so it's not so overwhelming, but it still gets to that point, of course. I've noticed that the travel almost like kicks it off. And there will be so how it really started was in the beginning of everything, I would get woken up in the middle of the night by like a scary voice or something screaming my name. And I always was just like, oh, so, Someone's just trying to scare me, and it works. I'm fucking like, I thank God I'm not wearing an Apple Watch to bed, or it would call 911. But you're in basically sleep paralysis, and something's just screaming at you, like demonic. A couple months ago was the first time that I was able to catch it. And I said, you're not welcome here. Get the fuck out of here. Leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. And it went away. And then all my Sybil comes in, the whole shebang happens, the vultures, the crows. It's like this, it's my death rebirth signifier. Like as I'm ending a cycle and going into a new one, because these like darker energy, you know, like, of course they're fucking, it's spiritual warfare, right? And we have to remember that we are sovereign beings and we get to control that shit. So get the fuck out of here. And then what I do is I sage just my room specifically and just reset all my crystals and like have all of my black crystals in my room. And that seems to help. And here's a hummingbird. And the other night was really terrifying as well, but I'm just gonna say it. Because my past lives, a lot of past life stuff comes through, a lot of things that just like, what else could it be? It's a memory from somewhere. It's, you know, it's trying to scare me enough for something. And I'm like, nice fucking try. The night I got back from Alaska, I woke up in the middle of the night gasping for air because I woke up after having a platform kicked out from under my feet and I couldn't breathe. And I couldn't remember how to swallow. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is why I can't have a normal job. So that was obviously terrifying. And I'm like, okay. And we sit with it the next morning. The thing that I always forget is to ask it who it is. I always forget that. And Cynthia is like, you ask it who it is, it has to answer. And I always forget that every time. So I'm saying that to anyone who needs that tidbit. I just, sitting with it and being like, okay, this is okay, I'm safe. Do we need to write it down? Do we just need to think about it? Do we just like, what, you know, kind of let's process it rather than shoving it back down of like, holy shit, that was just fucking terrifying and I never, like, shoving it into that bank, right? I try not to do that, but you know, it's some things get a little weird. Anyways, where we are energetically just within the Lionsgate portal and this whole awakening, mass great awakening that we're all going through, it, of course, the spiritual warfare is being turned up 1,000 notches. And it's just because we're stronger now and we're brighter now. It's not even stronger. I don't know what I'm saying. It is stronger, but it's just like we're stepping into our power. We're remembering who the fuck we are. We are remembering why the fuck we came here. And when we travel and we go to these places and our energetic system is just like thrown totally out of whack and we've got to like recalibrate, like that's when the magic comes in, you know? Like there was this room standing in this palace in Berlin, and of course the room is called the Cinderella Room, and it's just like the most beautiful turquoise pink gold. And I'm like, just the amount of like, just the detail and the fucking art and the symbolism and it's just so magical. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever lived a life that like I just was asleep from this. Asleep from like how magical just staring at a fucking just one corner of a ceiling is. It's like someone painted that. Like someone climbed their ass up there and painted that. And they put it together, and it's just this craftsmanship and this artistry. And you're like, look at my fists. I can't believe I get to live in a world where I get to witness this now. And it just feels like magic. And when your body gets thrown into those different frequencies and you shift and you're immediately being upgraded. Like your memories, the remembrance, your power, your confidence, like it all just starts clicking in. Two years ago when my dad retired and they all went to Amsterdam, I couldn't go because I was manic, so manic, and I was so angry at everyone that was going on the trip. And fast forward 2 years, and it was just like the best trip I ever could have asked for. And I'm so grateful that I have the juxtaposition. Go lightly with love. I love you all so much. That's all for today.